So I watched this anime actually almost back to back with the last anime we did, which was the Elena one, but I honestly just didn't feel like writing anything. And while there was already 3 episodes, I never bothered to watch the other 2, which is fine because this is Dropped, the show where we go ahead and we take the first episodes of every season of seasonal anime that's coming out. We go ahead, we watch it, we give you a little review so you can go ahead and figure out, is this even worth your time to tune in for? Because let's face it, in the West, anime is a fucking chore to watch. We don't speak Japanese. I don't care that you took a week of Rosetta Stone. You're not a native Japanese speaker, all right? So you're still gonna need to rely on those subtitles. You're gonna be reading as much as you are watching. So let's go ahead and give you the dish on some of these animes to see, are they worth your time? Because quite frankly, most anime aren't. All right, so the anime we're looking at is Burn the Witch, which, holy shit, that's a pretty fucking middle name and pretty brutal. I mean, considering our main characters are witches and the general vibe of the first episode, and this could just be due to translation, unless it just, I don't know, jumps the shark completely in the second episode, where it's just a lot more dark. It's not really a fitting title. So if you're not into like horror, you're not into like just super hardcore action stuff, don't be completely turned off just from the title for this one, because it doesn't seem to be like one of those ones. That being said, this anime isn't bad and is much better of a magical witch girl anime than the last one we did. Like, when we're praising animation, while it's not like super brutal, like I said, there is plenty of fight scenes, plenty of magic uses, and it just goes above and beyond what we typically expect. Now, yes, it's an anime. I expect it to move. I expect to see animation, but it's the small things that get away with by simply doing the classic, you know, frozen still picture and then panning across it. Not that they don't completely like stop doing that, but it's a lot less noticeable. And small little enhancements like the color correction that makes a character pop and feel far more pleasing. The show doesn't have some ultra bright color scheme, and the colors are fairly normal and muted, but it's kind of like adding HDR to a scene. Subtle, but it's a clear difference that maybe you feel more than you can like explain and like clear words of like, yes, these pixels have been boosted to 23 fucking quadrillion lumens or some shit. Okay, but enough fluff. What's the show actually about? Well, it's about magical girls, kind of. Like, I mean, they are magical girls, but I think they're like employed by the government or something. I guess that's still a magical girl. And I don't know if they're like magical as in unique, because it seems to be a lot of magical people, but you get the idea. It's not super clear, but it's pretty much a magical girl anime. It's another witch one. And it's got the same dynamic we've seen before, something that's actually kind of reminiscent to me. You have 2 friends on complete opposite ends of the spectrum of the social hierarchy that we have. A super rich and popular girl, the other one's poor and studious. I don't actually know if she's a broke bitch, but she certainly cares about money a lot, while the other girl is literally being mobbed in the city by paparazzi while being questioned about their group breaking up. I assume it's some sort of idol group or something, but it could also be related to the whole magical stuff and that these 2 girls were once part of a larger group. It's not super clear again, but it seems like that's kind of the way that it's going. The story though doesn't seem to rush like the last show and actually takes its time explaining most things that aren't super obviously left vague on purpose. Because hey, you're not gonna explain everything when you have 12 episodes to do it. That's not to say the world makes sense, but this is an anime. But apparently in this world, dragons, they're big mad, causing something like 70% of the deaths in the world. Not 70% of animal deaths, not 70% of homicides, 70% of all deaths. Hell, it doesn't even make a distinction between normal deaths and just human mortality. Heart disease alone, 647,000 deaths a year. Cancer, another 600,000. Accidents, just unintentional injuries, 170,000 deaths. And from what I gather, this world hasn't solved all those things. And so I'm assuming that heart disease is still killing a lot of people, that cancer is still killing a lot of people, that all these other diseases are still killing a lot of people, but dragons, holy shit, 70% of all the deaths total. I really just don't think that they thought the numbers through, and it could be possible that this is just another translation error. Again, I don't speak Japanese. If it's true, they wouldn't be obsessing about idol groups. They wouldn't be complaining about pretty much anything. It would be countless campaigns and missions to try to kill these dragons. Or maybe they would, since despite dragons accounting for 70% of the deaths, how do they handle the situation? Do they send in SEAL Team 6 or Special Forces or some sort of other military group? Of course they don't. This is an anime. They send in questionably aged high school girls in order to clean up the world's problems. Oh, I almost forgot. The best part of this is that it takes place in London. Like, there's a mirror world where the dragons live and whatnot, and you can't go there to see it unless you have special eyes. I honestly, they're literally in London, which I didn't catch initially, but they are in London, and they go to what is essentially London to fight the dragons. They call normal London front run. Holy shit. They call the normal one Front London, which I'm just gonna go ahead and assume someone in Japan who's writing this, they're an SCP fan. But you can still die from dragons who are in this other world. How? I have no idea. You can't interact with the world, but the world, at least, it seems, can interact with you. Or at least the dragons can somehow. I feel like this would be causing mass panic. I don't know if little Timmy's just walking down the street and then magically just gets flattened like a fucking pancake. Like, this should be causing mass fucking panic. But everyone's super chill about it, to the point where if your house gets destroyed by a dragon in London, it's just, well, don't you have insurance? Which, if it's anything like America, no, we don't. There's also the apparent, like, dragonborns, but instead of being cool, they don't seem to have any real powers. In fact, they attract dragons. So what do? Well, they allow them to roam in the city unprotected, just casual stroll through the populated areas. Like, I'm beginning to see actually how 70% of the world is killed by dragons when this is the handling that they have for the situation. Also, something not really explained is if a dragon hybrid or some shit touches you, you just get killed, like on the spot. They take this serious too, to the point they have meters to gauge how much exposure you have. But of course, they take no precautions to stop this dragon hybrid dog from being in the city in the first place. Like, the dragonborn could come up, shake your hand. You know, he has residue from his dog. He was just playing with his dog. He comes up, shakes your hand. Now you're infected. You have levels that are too high. I don't know what the levels being too high really means, but now some magical girl, some 14-year-old girl just steps out from the shadows and just bang, shoots you right in the fucking head because your levels got too high. But hey, it's an anime. Shut off your brain, stop being an asshole, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy cute girls doing cute things. So how well does it do that? I mean, chemistry's here, but it's not overt. The dynamic isn't really anything new, and it is one I enjoy, but I don't really feel interested in them as characters. They're cute, and some of the dialogue is fun, but it's not like I can't get this from a million other animes I can binge watch now. Why am I wasting time reading this when Hi Puffy Ami Yumigo is in English and aired like in 2006 and is completely completed? This is a first episode that could easily be something worth watching and getting into. I almost feel nostalgic listening to this banter. Like, it reminds me of Ami Yumi and Toonami and old school animes and all kinds of other animes that I've watched with this kind of dynamic. It's not unique, it's not new, and it's not even really fresh, but it is something that has a special place in my heart, but that's just because of my own personal bias that maybe you didn't experience. If you're younger, if you're older, maybe these are just things that don't really appeal to you. So you don't even have that nostalgic factor to kind of give these things a pass. While there are better witch-themed shows and magical girl shows out there, this is far from bad. It's enjoyable and currently something you could watch. Would I dedicate a lot of time to this since I can't just passively enjoy it? Probably not, but I'm sure there are plenty who could. Because of that, I'm feeling
a strong 4 to a light 5. on this one.
It's solid. It sets up some interesting plot points, and I feel like there are plenty of things that they can expand on in the story. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think down below. As always, I've been Faith of Moliminous. I love your faces, so I hope you at least like my video. Go ahead, follow those links down in the description. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Discord. You know, join our Discord server so we can make it more active without me having to do anything. That would be my favorite thing. And if you absolutely adore me, you can go ahead and support me on Patreon, like the list of the fine people that will be shown somewhere here, I'm sure. Editor, please do that. Thank you. But I will see you guys in the next one that I'm actually about to record right now, because I made these back to back because I am really bad at recording videos. So I've been sitting on these videos for like a week. Anyways, I love your faces. Mwah.